Right, so we're back for Stint 3 of the N12, 12 hours of Nurburgring. This represents hour 4 into the race. It is going to be a wet race, should make things very, very interesting. Again, this is a race for the Ultimate Racing Network. I'm your host, Ryan McDowell, Siphon68. And we're going to get going here in just a minute. We have a rolling start here. There are two classes, GT and TC. That's Grand Touring as the main class, Touring Car as the lower class. And we are now in our third full stint for this. So this is, again, Stint 3. Stint 4 is also going to be rain. And then we're going to go dark before Stint 5 and 6. Sorry, just trying to get some timing stuff out of the way before we begin the race here. Lining up on the grid here, they will do a... somehow they've lost the rest of the GT field, but they're going to go double file. As they get through the final chicane, it's going to be green lights, so they're coming around on the GP circuit right now. Lining up, getting ready to go into that final chicane. On exit it is go. They're in turn 12 right now. We're talking about the turn 14-15 chicane. Looks like we're actually going to have a restart here. Never fails. All right, welcome back, guys. This is the Ultimate Racing Network. I'm your host, Ryan McDowell, Siphon68. This is Stint 3 of the Nurburgring, or the N12, rather, the 12 hours of Nurburgring. It's going to be a wet race, this stint. 2 hours of wet racing, followed by another 2 hours of wet racing, and then 4 hours of night racing. It's going to be insane. All right, at the front here, I'll give you your running order here in just a minute. As these cars wind around, it is GT versus TC, and that's Grand Touring versus Touring car. I'll give you the quick rundown of what the starting order is here. Right then, joining me in the commentating box is Colin Baring. So he is the driver for who's starting on pole here in Stint 3, LMR Canal Boat. Say hello,
Ryan.
Colin.
Hey, just give me a sec here to jump over to my headphones. You may be able to hear me better then.
Right then, while we do that, I'm going to run through the quick order here. We've got LMR Canal Boat in first, DBUK is second, F4H Girls Gone Wild is third, LMRG Drive is fourth overall. In GT, we've got Backmarker Motorsport is fifth, Virtual Speedworks Motorsports is sixth, Tech Life Racing is seventh, F4H Black Sheep is eighth, and Grip Tech Performance is ninth. In TC, we've got HCR Yagamura in first, F4H Racing is second, HCR Traxxas is third, Mad S2 Racing Team is fourth, F4H Motorsport is fifth, ATP Racing is sixth, F4H Red Sonja is seventh, FEV Racing is eighth, and Tech Life Racing TC is ninth.
All right, Ryan.
So we're just about to get started here. I think they've just come out of the chicane and we are now green. Still pretty clean getaway. We'll see if we can't go back to a couple of the Vipers as they're running incredibly close to each other. Riding on board with TLR Eclipse at the moment. Trying to gain position on F4H Ascari, but very, very tricky conditions here with this being wet puddle. I think we can all agree that these puddles are incredibly difficult to navigate.
So it looks like TLR Eclipse passed LMR Gruff early on, although Gruff looks like he's back under pressure. I know I'm 30 or so seconds behind you, Ryan.
Yeah, he definitely is under pressure. He is peeking out the left and right sides quite often here. TLR Eclipse still ahead, trying to make up ground here. Let's see if we can't go just a bit forward to PTG Mesosphere. See how he's doing in that all-wheel drive Lambo. Theoretically, he should be doing better here, but very much so under pressure by F4H Ascari as they head into the big right bender. He's sideways. No change of position there, just barely keeps it under control. Now this is going to be tough as we move into the night sessions because that Lamborghini has very fragile headlights. I'm not entirely sure why they're so fragile compared with the others, but they break really, really easy.
Interesting. That I would definitely make the suggestion to those guys then maybe to run the full line just so you have a reference in case you're out of luck on the back end of the track with no lights. That would be a very awkward situation to be in. We talked about it, and you know, if you don't have the full line or the line at all, when it's like that, it is so pitch black. Your best bet is to simply wait for somebody to drive up that you can chase, because you will not be able to see where you're going. You're going to give the car damage or further damage than it may already have, trying to get it back, and it may take you longer in hindsight. So, talked about the fact that finding another car may be one of your only ways out of that in the night.
It sounds like they just went without XPR chicane, so I'm not entirely sure that was intended.
I don't remember. Well, Gale Force actually was, I believe, in the last stint, so that's right.
One moment here. Let me find out exactly what they're going to do about that, whether there's going to be a restart for... Because in the pre-race, I don't know, warm-up or whatever, they were talking about robot voices and people needing to leave and reset and whatnot, and they may have just gone without him before he came back.
Yeah.
Man, still very close between this Lamborghini and the Viper behind.
Yeah, it looks like the characteristics of the car is the Viper, you can really get on the throttle early with that thing. It's got great throttle rotation. So you see them initially jump out of the corner, and he does have some low-end acceleration on that Lambo, but the legs of that thing, when it opens up on the long straights, he's doing well over 190 miles an hour.
Absolutely, it looks like he just lost out then. While you were talking there.
Okay, it's back. The screen was appearing offline.
Yeah, so PTG Mesosphere then does move back a position, loses it to F4H Ascari, but he's really not given up on it. He's still right behind him, so a mistake from F4H Ascari could hand it right back.
These guys just really want to be careful in these opening laps. The way these pit stops, or the strategy, seems to be working, whether you're on a 3-stop or a 2-stop like some of those Vipers, you're basically in a situation where you can't make any mistakes, or you're going to make another pit stop, because if you have to pit 1 lap sooner than you're scheduled to, it's going to throw your strategy and you will have to make the extra stop. So
yeah, you end up losing out on a little bit less than 30 seconds if you have to do that. Back on board with TLR Eclipse here. It is a train of Vipers. Looks like he's gone backward in the order here.
Yeah, it was a great
currently
attack
running
from him.
7th.
Yeah, it was a great attack from him at the start. I think he was up to 4th, if I'm not mistaken, jumping gruff early on.
Incredibly tricky conditions here. I don't know. Can you give us some insight as to how much prep work you've done for this race coming up to this weekend?
It's been a case, really, of setting people up for what they're going to be doing and having them to focus on it. We didn't want drivers doing dry stints, whether they're day or night, to have to worry about learning the rain and jumping back and forth between them. We wanted someone who would be able to simply go into the rain, focus on that, and didn't even have to worry about driving the track in the dry. So Harmonic really hasn't ran more than 1 session with us in the dry. He's basically done his own set of testing with Gruff, and the two of them have really worked together to set the cars for the rain. Aside from that, we've really just been working on what's a setup that's aggressive and fast, and where we can find the balance between that and something a bit more manageable, and something that's going to last the stint. Because while the Bentley is very fast and has great capability, it is very difficult to drive, and it eats up fuel, it eats up tires, and you feel it on the third lap big time when they start to go. So it really does come into play a lot. The fact that the car may have
Real quick there, F4H Lightning just alongside Mr. Drive.
Yep.
Looks like somebody's going to lose out on position. TLR Eclipse does move up then.
Yeah. Wow. And that's a tough place to go side by side. There's a puddle at the bottom of that hill. That looks like they both went through and made contact.
Yeah.
Ooh, very close there. And it looked like the wing may have popped off Mr. Drive's car. So I know that's easy to do. I wonder if he's gotten damage from that. I assume not, because the contact wasn't heavy.
Late braking there deep into turn 1 causes Mr. Drive out even further.
Ooh.
As we see Eclipse still hunting down F4H Lightning. This is the battle for 5th at the moment.
Yeah, just got caught out. The grass is like ice in the rain. There is, if you think of, a lot of people from Forza 4 used to adopt a grass braking style because there was almost more grip in the grass, it seemed. Not the case on these new games, and in the rain, it is even more so.
So we're going to go back to TC, and we have TPR Lawrence in the car right now. Currently trying to chase down F4H Eggy. He's 10th overall. Let's see what we've got here, whether we've got some people out.
Too bad to see Chris Super's teammate Jamie lagging out so early on in the second stint. They were looking like they had a really promising run.
Yeah, no doubt. Looks like F4H Lightning has made some sort of major mistake. We'll try and switch over here.
Uh-oh.
No damage, but he is well behind the battle for 5th now. Into the 14-15 chicane. He's several hundred feet back from that battle now. So that's really a TLR Eclipse benefiting from that entirely, moving up into that 5th position.
Well, for Lightning right now, he's got no damage, so in the long run, he really is in a good place still. He's actually maybe even in a better place, as one might think, because he's got clear road now for the time being, that he may be able to start putting down good laps, where if those guys were tangled together, it may have impeded him further. So this could give him and the others the chance to make better progress. It's a different mentality in these endurance races from the sprints, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, it definitely is. As tedious as the Nurburgring is anyway, this in the wet is just on another level of heightened awareness and twitchy reactions, making sure that every little thing isn't just causing you to go off the track, because it's so easy to make a mistake here, even in the dry.
Absolutely. The majority of this track, even, like you said, in the dry, is very high risk, where it is easy to make a simple mistake and there is nowhere to go when you do. That's only personified in the rain further with some of these puddles. There's a couple sections. I know when you exit the carousel, the cement banked carousel, you come out of that, there's a fast left after that is riddled with puddles just trying to take you off. I know that's a pretty high risk area. So we'll definitely want to be going to keep an eye out for the guys as they go through there.
Absolutely. So let's talk about TCs right now. We've got F4H Chris Supra currently leading the class in this stint anyway. We've got F4H Ghost second behind that. F4H Eggy is third. TPR Lawrence is fourth. Flying Egg is fifth then. HCR Majestic sixth. TJ Steele seventh. Is that Jono the 115th? That's got to be a GT car.
I believe that is GT car.
Both headlights already out. no damage, so he has either pit or something, because we should be well into it. He doesn't have hardly any wear on his tires, so I would think he's already had to make a
You know, it's
an early
funny. I
pit.
actually have a suspicion that when this game came out, it wasn't changing headlights when you pit in the night. There was a patch for the game to fix that. So I don't think that the game actually fixes headlights in the day or the rain. I was looking at that last stint where headlights weren't getting fixed during the pit stops. I think maybe
Interesting.
it's something only
Only
for the night
applies.
they do, right? Because the game wasn't originally like that.
So we're going to hop on board with what I think is going to be our closest battle in TC. It's actually just behind that TPR Lawrence and F4H Ghost, I believe. So we're going to ride on board with the Tech Life Racing car of TPR Lawrence. TPR Lawrence going down the inside. Can he make it stick? It's very tedious. He's going to have to give some room. No, can't get the pass done there. I'm sure you'll see this in just a minute, Colin.
Yeah,
but for
just coming up to it now. Looks like he takes a look. Yeah,
that failed
out of it.
attempt honestly has hurt him for this whole straight.
Yeah, he definitely did lose out a little bit there. It's passing on this, you know, as tough as it is in the dry, it's even worse in the wet. There's places like where they just passed through not long ago up this straightaway where, yeah, they could go side by side, but it is riddled with puddles up here that would take probably both of them off in either directions at a certain point if they were next to each other. So picking your place is really going to be key for this, because you can do a lot more damage than good trying to make a pass in a place that it shouldn't be. I'm going to guess, Ryan, you're probably right about now where this corner is that is really treacherous. Fast left kink. It's riddled with puddles on the apex, on the exit.
They are just past. Let me see here. I think.
So you see them as they come out of the carousel. They'll go into like an aerial cam view as they kind of wind out of that section. And then there's a left.
Oh yes. Okay. Yes. That's where I was at. That's where I was at the time. Now they're really close. Right on the back of him is TPR Lawrence. Oh, a mistake there from F4H. There's contact, but I don't know that it's going to really cause any damage, but that does hurt. I know when you rear end someone, it stops you almost immediately.
Yeah.
And he sort of corrected his car going sideways, did F4H Ghost.
Oh, yeah, that was very close. They did manage to keep both cars on the track. It's easy to get sucked out there in the grass. That could have cost them a lot more time, but they've recovered well, and battle's still on.
Looks like another collision here. They both kind of get taken out into the side.
Ooh.
As he tries to make a pass. He just collects him. You see they both go wide. It's really not a matter of just contact. They both make a mistake.
Yeah, that was, it looks like Ghost probably went in a little too deep, and Lawrence, just in the groove chasing him, just followed him straight into it.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's used to sort of lining himself up right. Peeks around the outside, dives back to the inside where there are lots of puddles, can't get it done.
Yeah. They're playing a real tough game right now. I'll tell you what, I see another car coming up behind them. So
yeah, that's Flying Egg. He's starting to capitalize on this battle.
Yeah, absolutely is. I'm not too familiar with the TC cars, but I am not mistaken, the Honda does lack some top end. We may see these guys stretch out a little bit from flying egg on the straight. I think the Audi and the Merc are relatively close. The Mercedes may have a slight top end advantage.
Yeah, keeping in mind that the Audi right now is in the draft, so he will be
Right.
able to sort of get a tow here. I'm not sure. The other one looks a little bit too far back to have the draft. It's possible he still has it, but he's right on that fringe. And actually, now it looks like the Audi has fallen back far enough that he may not have the draft.
No, he doesn't.
We're coming now onto the GP circuit. Let's go ahead and see how much further ahead is Eggy from this battle.
Yeah, so he's definitely capitalized on their battling and to really open out an advantage. It's a tough position to be in where he is, because there's nothing, or I take that back actually. Eggy's not part of the Red Sonja team, is he? So they are full and still in this race. It was Chris Supra, rather. I've been in his place before. You're doing everything right, but no one's going to count for lagouts. Can sure cost you.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got F4H Eggy just into turn 12 now, with the leader not far ahead of that. Oh, did Lawrence then just... Did we just lose him?
Oh, you may be right.
I think Lawrence is actually out.
Uh-oh.
We only have 15 cars actually on track.
15, we've lost someone else even, I think. Because if we didn't start with chicane, that brings us down to 18. Maybe we should give a run through just to check, because we definitely... Someone else is missing, I think.
Definitely, people are missing. LMR Harmonic is actually in second, though
maybe the pit stop, possibly. Is this the fourth lap?
It could be. Let me see if I can take a quick look.
Car looks okay. Doesn't look like it's taken damage. Got Gale Force 97 saying that chicane got booted in the loading screen.
Lawrence did indeed lag out. Yes, chicane was out early. We found out about that, but we are not the hosts, unfortunately, so there's not really a lot we can do for the race itself. I'm not sure what was sent to the hosts, F4H Lightning and F4H Trash, about that.
Right. I'm not entirely certain if Martin got the lag-out procedure figured out. Is there a system for accounting for lag-outs to give some kind of credit to what's lost?
In this race, I don't believe so. I think it's... let me take a quick look at the rules here, see if I can't figure out what's going on. Keeping in mind, we are now 25 minutes into this race.
Yeah, so I believe that is it then. So that is the first round of pit stops we may be seeing. Although...
It appears that his verbiage on lagouts is that if you don't complete if you don't complete 75%, I'm not sure that 75% even really applies here. A little bit of a mistake there from Gruff, running him off into the grass. It talks about points, but yet we're dealing in distance here.
You know,
I think he's talking about distance. So if you're out, you'll get last place. I don't think you get 0.
Right. I'm trying to think, because when F4H set up the 24-hour version of this race a year ago on Forza 5, they had a lag out system for it that it was... I'm struggling to remember this. I believe it was something to the effect of the percent of what you haven't completed, you get 75% of what your average lap time was, or the distance you're covering in that. So you get 75% of what you might have accomplished had you stayed in. I think is what it was.
Yeah, that'll really be up to the organizer for this event, and the champion for that would be Martin Hall.
Right.
Unfortunately, we can't talk to him at the moment. Let me see if I can't get him back in the commentating booth. Looks like we've got a pretty good battle going on between TLR Eclipse and what is F4H Lightning just ahead of Viper Battle here.
Yeah.
A message from Martin there saying that your distance is based off of qualifying time if you lag out.
I see.
Maneuver there by TLR Eclipse. He does get the job done down the back straight, or during the last straight, rather, the huge straight. Question is, can he keep that position now, 5th place, and start to claw back some of that distance that was lost when Elamar Madara rather, is when he ran out of fuel, rather.
Right. Lost just about a lap in that whole thing. Trash was able to collect it maybe a little quicker than Iceman in the stint prior. On a slightly different subject, real quickly, I'm seeing the release pictures of the 2016 Audi R18 right now. And I have to say, the front end looks a whole lot like a Nissan.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very... The front end of the fenders is very vertical, more than we've seen on any prototype yet. In fact, it's almost leaning forward.
This is the 2016 R18?
This is the 2016 R18 they've just released pictures of in its debut.
Alright, let's take a look at how far ahead F4H Ascari is, because even after the pits, He's
I
still
don't.
ahead.
I want to actually take it back. You said it was 25 minutes in. Carmona should not have pitted yet.
We're now just over a half an hour into this race. So we've got F4H Ascari leading the race. We've got LMR Harmonic just behind. I can see if I can get us a quick estimate of what the gap is.
Looks like now making his pit stop, so it is quite a bit larger gap now.
Yeah, it is a huge gap, actually.
That should come back down at the end of this lap when Ascari is in. Which means, though, that Ascari is making 4 laps, I believe, in the rain, which is something that we weren't sure that the Vipers were going to be able to do. They could do it in the dry. It's a lot tougher to do in the rain.
It's well over a minute gap.
Yeah, that's definitely something. Ascari really looks in the groove with that Viper.
See if we can see what the gap is back to PTG Mesosphere, who's running third. It's about a 20-second gap, honestly.
Yeah. I believe those two should be on the same pit strategy in these two cars, so. It should be.
It doesn't look like fourth place TLR Eclipse is that far behind third. I can see some taillights ahead.
I'm just wondering, this is a Vipers. I wonder if he's also going for that 4th lap or if he's made a stop.
He hasn't recently made a stop. He's got 30-some% damage or wear on his tires.
Although so he hasn't stopped this lap, although that's definitely not the wear you'd have if you were on your 4th lap, so it was an early pit for him then.
Really only about 3 seconds. Oh, a bit of a mistake from F4H Lightning there, costing him quite a bit of time as he comes into the back sector.
Ooh, yeah, just in too deep.
Mr. Drive not that far behind F4H Lightning either. Maybe he can capitalize on this gain speed here. Yeah, you can see F4H Lightning just ahead. He's gaining rather quickly. Really reeling him in. I mean, he's chopped that lead. You'll see it here in just a minute.
Yeah.
But he has really reeled him in. They get ready to go through the carousel here. Mr. Drive opting to not even dip into that banked section. Probably wise in the wet, honestly. It's pretty upsetting to the car. Oh, bit of a mistake from both of them. Look at that.
Ooh. Seeing it momentarily here. Yep, that's it. That is the place where it is very high risk. Spins Mr. Drive's car completely around. Lightning him to get out of that better. Definitely kept it straight. Nothing to give them damage, but looks like, yeah, very close there. Oh, it just catches lightning out in the puddle as they head into the carousel. So Mr. Drive's got it. Hey, Martin.
Oh, right. Where are we at? What's been happening?
All right. Just riding with Mr. Drive right now. Just got the position over Lightning. Seen a couple lagouts so far this stint, huh?
Oh, yeah, I know there was some issues at the start. Hopefully we don't lose too many.
So can you go into some detail on what will happen for those drivers that do lag out or that entirely miss the stint, or just clarify that a little bit for us?
Yeah, like in previous races before, generally when you lag out, that's it, you're going to get awarded what you've done. And it's just not fair, is it really? You know, to put all that effort in, then to be shafted by Xbox Live and get kicked out for no reason. So what I got in place is we'll just go from distance based off your qualifying time. So if you lose a mass amount of time, we'll take an average, you know, lap time, and then we'll sort of work out what you would have got in the stint. Not saying that you're going to get, I've got it all written down there, it's a bit of a nightmare to work with, to be fair, but yeah, you'll still get a good distance, you know what I mean? Like say you were meant to get 200 miles in that stint, what you could have potentially driven, you know, working it out this way, it might only give you 195 or 190, but that's still better than
Right,
the
it keeps
10
you in the
miles that
running.
you've driven. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know you're not going to get 100% what you potentially could have, but you know you've still got something to work with, and you know there's no reason then to turn around and say, "Ah, screw it, I'm not racing anymore. My team's pulling out."
Right.
You know, that's an issue that we've seen before. You know, well, I've been there. I've done it myself. When
Yeah.
drivers lost a stint or two, and I thought, "What's the point?"
It's just not worth it. Yeah.
No. No.
Right then, I can give you a quick update on where we're at for the overall standings. Clearly, we can't give you the timing and scoring from this stint, but we can give you what they were at the end of stint 2.
Goody.
So there we have it. LMR Canal Boat in the lead. Something appears a little bit off with those, so we'll take those down just momentarily and see if we can't fix that. But still, LMR Canal Boat is definitely in the lead here. Last we checked, they were 5.69 miles ahead of the next nearest car.
Now, if the Vipers were on the 4-lap strategy still for the rain, I believe they'd be in by now. So I wonder what that lead is looking like. I'm sure he's still in a pretty comfortable place.
Who were we talking about there?
The F4H Scary at the lead of GT. I would imagine that he's made that pit now. If he was waiting until the end of the 4th.
Indeed, he did just make his pit, so he is on his first lap out from that. We can try and see what the gap is, but he's still, what I would say, is well ahead.
Yeah.
We'll see where that's at.
I'm just going to change the subject briefly here, as we're all about endurance racing anyway, because the new Audi R18 has just been unveiled.
Indeed, it has.
Everyone knows I'm a big Audi fan anyway, but if you haven't seen it, you really need to go and look at this car. It looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, it does. My initial reaction looking at it was, I said, wow, that looks like a Nissan-inspired front end. Those wheel wells
exactly
really
what
are
I'm
arched
thinking.
forward. Yep.
Yep. And then the centre of it, it's like, I don't know, it looks like an F1 splitter sort of, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, very interesting looking car. It'll be interesting to see how the others change, because now we have the new Toyota coming. They've been waiting a long time to replace the old one. It's been a long season for them, no doubt.
I think that Toyota is going to be something special. Well, it's got to be. After the last season they just had, it's got to be something special.
Absolutely.
Wow, craziness, man. That Audi has shocked me big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see if Nissan comes back with some improvements to their car, and if it's still the same layout.
Well, yeah, I think the concept was good what Nissan had. It's just the hybrid, wasn't it?
Right. They didn't have the hybrid active, did they?
No, the car was pretty rapid in a straight line.
Yeah. I believe it actually did. Did it not clock the fastest speed trap at the end of the Mulsanne?
Yeah. Yep. And that's with no hybrid boost either.
Yeah, amazing.
It's just they lost every ounce of time gained through through any curve. Not
Yeah.
just the Porsche curve, through any type of braking and cornering, they just lost time.
Yeah, it was the braking alone was huge. I remember that. I even saw a couple occasions that looked like they were catching out GT cars on the brakes.
Yeah.
How early they had to get on it. So, Martin, you're running in this race a little later on, right?
Yep.
Is that TCC or GT?
GT. I'm in a Viper
Very cool.
for the last stint of the event, so I get some fun nighttime racing.
Right.
I think it's safe to say I'll be sticking the line on for this.
Yeah, definitely something to consider when those lights go out.
Yeah, I done some practice the other day, and I lost the headlights. I couldn't do nothing.
You couldn't?
Couldn't do nothing, so no.
No. Your best bet if you lose them and you don't have the line is to wait for someone to follow. It's going to light on the track, and even then it won't be great.
Nah, I just give up. Even when your lights are gone and you've got the racing line on, even then you've still got to crawl pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so dangerous. It should be fun anyway. You know, we'll take a lot from this event this weekend.
Yeah.
And, you know, going forward, we'll learn from it. You know, not just about the cars that we're using, but about organising the event as well, and the limitations of Forza of what it's give us again.
Yeah. Ooh. I know the stream's seeing this little ways ahead of when we are, but HCR Yamagura car there is getting wide going into the left-hand kink. That cost him a bit. Back underway now. One thing I'm seeing here is, and if the standings are up to date and correct right now, that HCR Yamagura leading the TCC class from F4H Racing. Those teams 5th and 6th overall. Pretty impressive from them. It's by no means not impossible. We could see a TCC car on the podium overall. That looks like a very realistic possibility right now as we really get into the tougher stints of this race.
Yeah, definitely. Some of these TC drivers have been pretty solid. You know, they've been mixing it with the GT cars for the last 2 stints now.
Yeah, it's really been excellent to watch. They the speed. You know, when we did this on past games, when we built our own TCC cars or TC cars, there was a lot of speed differential between them. Not so much anymore. They're very close now.
Nah, the only way you're going to get that real difference is obviously using production-based cars.
Right.
You know, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and how can you say no to these fully prepared?
Well, that's
cars?
it. Yeah, they're balanced there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Not like the prototype cars.
All over the place, those.
Yeah.
Okay, there we are. I know we've got some updating to do on FEV Racing. They're currently showing still just their Stint 1 mileage. But as we look at it, there's a larger view after Stint 2 of where we're at overall. We've got LMR Canalboat leading the GT and overall DBUK is second. F4H Girls Gone Wild is third. LMR G Drive is fourth in GT and overall. HCR Yagamura, like we said, is fifth overall, but first in class. That's pretty impressive stuff from them. F4H Racing is then sixth overall, second in class. Backmarker Motorsport, fifth in GT. HCR Traxxas, third in TC. Not that far behind, honestly, from F4H Racing. If you look at the gap there, so they've got to make up a mile and a little bit of change to make it up to F4H Racing. And, you know, any one mistake in this entire event could easily be a mile.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Right, I'm just going to amend this score. I don't know why that's come out like that. Right, give me 2 minutes and I'll amend this.
Yeah.
Ah, stupid boy. Right, that is FEV's correct distancing. Sorry, I don't know why that came out like that.
Was it not including their progress from the second stint?
No, I'd put the second stint progress in. It had just gone completely random, unless I'd put
It looked like
wrong.
it looked like it was pretty much without the second stint in there. It had 3 miles or so, which was just flat out incorrect. But
I think,
now
no,
corrected.
I think that was just my error.
Now corrected, it looks like really not far behind. We got 3 miles here, so we'll see what happens after stint 3. I know they're going to lose some more time here with XPR Chicane not in this stint.
They're going to lose a little bit, but he hasn't even got on track, so he's not going to lose his whole stint anyway. I'll work that out soon as this stint's over and we've got everyone else's distances in. But it won't be game over for them by any means.
Yeah, it won't be catastrophic.
Nah. Right. Time for me to make a drink. In the words of Arnie, I'll be back.
In a race like this really is a first for Forza players to deal with night and rain in an endurance race. There's a lot of argument that even if you are out of it, carry on, get the practice, have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, some of these guys with night and rain stints still ahead of us, those are the dry stints are the ones that are predictable. So with the unpredictable or the more unpredictable races ahead of us still, I would say that it's not in the bag for anyone and it's not over for anyone. We're not seeing, you know, massive. Yes, we see the 14 mile interval there between the fourth in GT and first in TC, but you know, we're not seeing anybody just totally out of it. You know, we don't see anybody just miles and miles and miles back.
Absolutely not. Definitely is tricky conditions out there. TC guy is really grappling with the rain.
Kale Force 97 commenting, there is no fun with the BMW, only fear and walls.
Very true. I have driven that car. Not being much of a front-wheel drive guy, I saw a glimmer of hope when I saw that being a rear-wheel drive car, but I'm not so sure about that thing. It's for being a little TCC car, it sure is scary.
Yeah, it is very twitchy, honestly.
Yeah.
Switching back over to a different Lamborghini, we're going to go up to PTG Mesosphere, see how he's doing. Again, both headlights out.
Yeah, so I don't think they're being fixed. in these pit stops. That's my suspicion.
'Cause, yeah, 'cause,
It's,
yeah, 'cause, 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 yeah, 'cause
Yeah, not critical in the rain, and probably more expected that they're going to be broken in the rain. But it'll be interesting to see what happens during the night stints for these.
Right.
Expert dodging of the puddles here. If you're just joining us, this is stint 3 of a 12-hour race. There are 6 stints in total. Each stint is roughly 2 hours worth of action. An hour and 40 on track. We set up the lobbies in that time in between. Again, we are currently well into this race. Roughly 50-some minutes into this race. You know, for being all-wheel drive, that Lamborghini is not the most planted car either, you know? It's kind of shocking, actually.
Yeah, maybe not quite what you expect from an all-wheel drive GT car.
That said, I think the split is something like 90-10. So the front really there just trying to get a little bit more. Yeah, unfortunately we cannot see the lap times with this being a distance race, and spectating doesn't give us that opportunity. We'd have to have our timing car also up, in which case we still wouldn't see their active lap times, unfortunately. So this is an interesting development. So we've seen now PTG Mesosphere, and we can see in the foreground there, or the I guess the background, we can see the Bentley of LMR Harmonic just ahead. Honestly, only a couple of seconds ahead. Though they've got a long way to make it up, so this is not going to be for overall position, but it does, I mean, every foot he's ahead of that car means the team is moving forward in terms of overall ranking. That said, they've got to move forward not just a little bit of time, they've got to move a lot.
Yeah. Excuse me, I stepped away for a sec. Did we get a look at what the gap to the lead looks like?
Well, at the time it was 15 seconds or so after pits. Let me see if I can get back in there.
It's possible these two have made their second stop. If they haven't, they're probably due in this lap, maybe.
Driver's assists are unregulated here. They can run traction control, ABS, stability control if they would really like to. To be honest, in the rain, I'm guessing a lot of these guys are running traction control. However, it does bog down the car quite a bit. So the fastest way around is honestly if you can keep it without just getting totally sideways, without traction, is actually faster, even here.
Especially in a car like this Lambo with the all-wheel drive. That's really your traction control in itself. Anything else is just interference.
See if we can't figure out what the gap is to the lead. We'll pick a marker here in just a second.
substantial. I'm going to guess that these guys have made their second stop.
It's roughly about a minute again.
Yeah, I believe they're between stops.
Indeed, you're right. LMR Harmonic just made his pit stop there. Whereas PTG Mesosphere has got quite a bit of wear on his tires. He's got 34%, so he's a little bit of ways from making a pit stop. I think he's going to be probably another lap before he pits.
Interesting. So, fuel consumption-wise, the Bentley and the Lambo do about the same. I mean, they can't make that fourth lap. The Viper was capable of it, but these guys are not on the same strategy right now. It looks like Harmonix made an earlier pit, so maybe something happened early on in the stint that caused him to take a pit stop a lap or two early, and it set him off from the others.
Yeah,
Especially
when I caught a bit of it earlier, I think he might have come into running some clean air, you know. That's possibly not a bad move, to be honest, because in them conditions, I'd rather be on track on my own than
Absolutely.
be battling with someone.
Yeah.
We've seen it several times already where people have clashed.
Right.
Someone's asking for an onboard. Yeah.
Yeah, the only onboard we can do is with F4H Lightning. Only with the host.
Right. Should we take a look, see if he's currently with anyone battling?
Yeah, I'm on board with him right now. So these two have just made their pit stop as well.
Yep. Yeah, some of these cars definitely looking a little bit more rugged than they did last and the one before that. No surprise there in these kind of conditions.
Yeah, I'm parked up by the pit entry, and we had a Lamborghini a few seconds ago come drifting through the corners.
Ooh.
He didn't. Yeah, I don't know whose car it was. It was like a black-looking Lamborghini.
Yeah.
That must be Jono.
Virtual Speedworks.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was many panels left.
See where we're at over in the TC.
The three F4H Mercedes are flying the flag at the minute,
Yeah.
followed by, what is it, 3 Civics and the 2 Audis. Oh no, the 2 Audis are both out.
Yeah.
TPR Lawrence,
early after
yeah,
a
they did.
battle
He
with,
lagged out.
Who was that he was scrapping with? Was that Eggy? No,
Yeah, it
Ghost.
was.
Excuse me, it was Eggy. It was Ghost. He was
You're correct. You're correct.
in
It's
the first
Ghost.
laps.
Martin, any spot for us on what the closest battle is? Bit of drifting there from TJ Steele.
Yeah, it looks like the rain's done a pretty good job of fanning everyone out, just for the time being.
I'm not sure we actually have any other broadcasters on right now, do we?
Currently going, not that I know of. HR Solar has been streaming stints, I believe, but I don't think anyone currently is. I'll double check that right now, though.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like there are any of our guys in there. Yeah, Fenboy's out though. Just looking at having a quick look, there's nobody currently actively streaming this session. A bit of a mistake there from HCR Mystic. More than an hour in right now. Martin, do you have timing for us? Do you have you know what the countdown is? How much time we have remaining?
Looks like Mark may be away for the moment.
My timing says we've got about an hour and 34 in this. But I don't think it's quite that much. I think it's closer to an hour and 10 into it.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely didn't start this one quite on time. They had to back up one. I think they were a little late to start the initial attempt. But with the 20 minutes given for rollover, yeah, probably maybe about a half an hour out right now.
On board right now with Flying Egg.
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. No streams that I'm seeing other than the official one.
Again, those small standings on the side are after Stint 2 only. They don't take into account the distance that's already been done here in Stint 3. I really wish that we could provide you that data, but it's not something that's available to us as the race is live.
Right.
That's quite the color-changing paint on that Honda. Have you noticed that? As it goes by, the color shift and...
Yeah, an interesting
It's like
coat they've used for that. Yeah,
an odd candy on that Honda.
Huh. Wonder what that's going to look like at night with the headlights of other cars. It could be a very fancy looking car. Looking right now, you see these shots where the game will go inside the cockpit of these cars,
right?
In the replay cam, and it's a very, very basic looking dashboard for that. But honestly, they could provide us with even something that basic all the time for cockpit. That would be great.
Yeah, just to get a view,
Right,
of what they
absolutely.
see. Not necessarily do I want to read their gauges.
Yeah,
I mean, I wish I could, but I'll take what I can get.
absolutely.
Most of the gauges don't work anyway.
That's a good call. It does look like a PS2 game
Yeah.
inside the
That is
dash.
pretty good
Yeah.
way of putting it. Yeah, that actually did remind me of Toka Race Driver 3 a little bit from way back. Ooh, sideways through the uphill left. Of course, old news for the stream.
Now on board with F4H Aggie. Yeah, this rain race certainly made it sort of front loaded all the action, didn't it? Put it all at the beginning, and
Yeah.
now it's sort of spread out.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough to keep that kind of action up through this, and even more so the more I think about it, because you see these guys, they did definitely have trouble staying close together in these conditions, but it's not going to be a good idea to battle real tight at night, because it would be a great way to punch out both your headlights behind someone.
Definitely.
If you just get into the back of them a little bit. So they're going to have to be maybe even more careful in the night when it comes to making contact with each other, because of what it can leave you with.
Yeah, sometimes it's an idea to just run your own race, you know, rather than battling with the guy in front. Just let him pull
Right.
a little bit of distance on you, you know, keep him inside, and then, you know, hope for a mistake or just look for somewhere where it's safe to pass.
Right.
I mean, you know, out on the ring itself, there's only a handful of places where you can really pass someone and be sure of it. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's probably just safer to wait until you get onto the GP circuit, because you can pass near enough everywhere on that. Yeah. Well,
With the way these are done on Forza, it's 12 hours, but it's not 12 continuous hours. So it really does test the drivers to pick their battles, because they are faced at the start of every stint with battles in stint that may not be going in the race, and
Right, it sort of lures them
it
into
does.
take some risk, and really the payoff isn't right there, is it?
No,
I mean,
it
you
definitely
back off a
isn't.
couple hundred feet, but if you're more consistent over your entire run, that's gonna benefit the team way more than
Right.
the advancing in front of somebody. However, they do still need to finish ahead of someone else in order to claw back position. Currently winning TCC overall or in this stint. I guess overall we're looking at HCR Tagamura and then F4H Racing behind that. In this stint, F4H has the top 3 spots.
It's funny. I see every time I go down the front straight, I see TPR Lawrence's Audi parked on the line, and another car that looks like the Bentley parked on the line, which is a strange thing to be seeing considering he's circulating the track. The first time I saw that, my heart skipped a beat when I thought he may have lagged out, but he hadn't. So, not sure what's going on there.
I'm going to go and investigate now while I'm here.
Martin, how much time do we have in?
It could be something that we're seeing that you may not be.
Yeah, I'm on the GP straight now, and there is nothing here. There was an incident earlier where I could see the Audi, but that seems to have gone now. I'm not seeing nothing on track now.
Yeah, just a replay glitch then.
Right.
Martin,
yeah.
how much time is remaining?
There's 41 minutes and 30 seconds left in the lobby, so we have got roughly
21 minutes, yeah.
Riding time, yeah.
So they're 2 laps and change out right now. Thereabouts.
Now this stint has put us a little bit behind, but going back to previous conversations when people were asking why can't we double stint X and Y stints, this is the reason why. This race will still finish on time now, even though we're currently behind.
Yeah, it's definitely a great precaution to take, just to allow one stint to start before the previous has finished.
Yeah, you know, we've done this before, where it's been a 24-hour race and it's turned into 26 hours.
Yeah. Where you're literally a whole stint length behind in schedule, just from little things that, aren't the organizers' fault, whether it's the game, people not able to connect, any little holdups after 24 hours, or even 12 hours, it accumulates very quickly.
One of the big factors that we face at the minute is the game chat. I mean, that is such a nightmare for us. I mean, you say a message, and then it has to be relayed 2 or 3 other times by other people to make sure that everyone gets that message.
Yeah,
so it's just ridiculous.
It makes setting up any kind of intricate form of race that's more than just run from the start to the finish. Yeah. It makes those just 10 times harder, not being able to coordinate the entire lobby.
I think going forward, maybe looking for the Endurance Championship in 2016, it might be an idea to incorporate in the rules that the live timing thread will be up, and it's the driver's responsibility to find the grid order each stint.
Right. To know where they're starting, where they're supposed to be.
That's it. Yeah. Generally, all teams are in chats with each other of some sort, whether it Messenger or WhatsApp. So you can always relay a message to someone, say, right, you're starting in
Right.
X grid position. You know, it's not hard for one person from each team
Yeah.
to jump on the forum and say, that's where you are. Makes hosting a lot easier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the beginning of the stint when the goal is really just to get it underway as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
We really are lucky they seem to have fixed the inactive driver removal, taking it out of these private lobbies.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's completely gone or not, because I was disconnected from Stint 1. I'd left my car parked up for, I think it was about 35 minutes, and I disconnected. So while I've been in these last two stints, just every 10 minutes I just move the car a little bit just to make sure I don't get kicked again. In Stint 1, it was roughly 35 minutes. I didn't move the car at all. I was busy elsewhere working on sheets and stuff, and I was disconnected. Now, I don't know if that was due to the game limitations kicking me. It could have been an Xbox Live issue, or it could have been my internet. I don't know. But I don't really want to test it again and just leave the car there and see if I get kicked.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, maybe they extended the inactive removal for these kind of lobbies out to a much longer time, because it wasn't long at all before. Maybe a minute.
Yeah. There was there was messages sent to the relevant people from, our behalf, and I believe your behalf as well.
Absolutely.
Saying, this needs to be removed from.
Yeah, this just doesn't work.
And because I think it was 50 seconds originally.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it made standing starts impossible.
Standing starts impossible, and coming to the end of a stint to stop impossible.
Oh yeah, especially when
the idea was
you're
to
taking
hustle
distance.
through it and try to get the distances, but game chat's broken, and that just slows everything down. So.
Yeah, you need a good 5 minutes to take on the distances properly.
Right.
And, especially when you've got to get other people to relay messages to you about what X driver's distance really is.
Yeah, to be fair, it really just needs a toggle or to not apply, because, to be honest, there's already a race timer, isn't there? I mean, up to 10 minutes, or you can set it to none. So, I understand why they did it for public lobbies.
No, it's an excellent feature, especially for leagues and such.
Yeah, definitely, because you always end up with a couple of guys that sit in a lobby, and I don't know whether they're trying to
for the leagues, what it is that you accumulate points for finishing the races, whatever position you're in. You get more for higher up, but these guys will just throw it into a lobby, sit in there, and even if they're finishing at the back, they're still trickling in some kind of points. And what it'll do is it'll keep you in the upper divisions, as well as when you're not able to be racing, you can leave the Xbox on and you keep trickling points in.
Yeah, I did notice that the last time I joined a league race, actually, that I dropped down into the Elite League now, because I haven't been racing.
Yeah. I haven't done a lot of leagues, but when the GT Carlin came out, I did jump into that, but I was stuck in Elite, and all week it doesn't move you up until the league resets to something else. So
yeah, which could end up being C-class ghosts.
Yeah, something random.
Is of no interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to remind you watching, if you do like the racing you're seeing here, don't forget to go over to theultimateracingnetwork.com, get signed up to participate in our 2016 calendar of events. Again, we'll have several endurance events like these in 2016, as well as other series coming up. We do have, before 2016, we do have a GT3 series coming up. If you're not keen on driving but you like watching it, do follow us here on Twitch/TurnMedia, or head over to Facebook/TurnMedia1. Follow us there, or like us rather, and on Twitter over at @TurnMedia. It's turn_media.
Even the V8 Supercar series so far sure has been a spectacle to watch. The battle at the front has been awesome, and definitely looks like it's
Yeah, both
heating up
off
between
and on
LRT
track.
Breeze and LRT Breeze and TPR Zermatt, definitely in a fierce rivalry. Yeah, there's that big old boned of a Bentley.
Martin, quick update on how much time is left, and then can you run us through the standings for this, the running order for this race, this stint?
Martin, maybe just away there again. I'm gonna guess maybe 10 or so left at this point.
Yeah, it looks like, actually, if I just do the calculation myself, it looks like we've just got about 11 minutes left to go. 11 and a half minutes left to go. Switch up and right on board with F4H Ascari here. Our overall, I believe he's second. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I think he probably has. They were running third prior to the stint, but I would say with this, they probably have jumped DBUK, move up into second, and definitely made some headway on the canal boat.
Actually, likely not. So he's
Really?
got to. They were 2 miles behind at the end of stint 2, and I'm not entirely sure he's 2 miles ahead of DBUK here. He's certainly not 2 miles ahead of LMR Harmonic and
No, I'm
PTG
thinking maybe a
Mesosphere.
mile.
Right,
Maybe
PTG
maybe a
Mesosphere
mile
is
of
not
Harmonic.
that far behind.
Well, they're only halfway through the rain here, so Ascari will have another stint to work on both of them. See if he can pull some more in. Hope maybe jump the DBUK car and work his way towards the leader.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. I mean, like we mentioned before, these are the most uncertain stints ahead of us. So while it's one thing to drive the Nurburgring during the day, it's another thing to drive it, in the wet or at night. So lots of stuff could happen. Catch any one of these drivers out. If they get significant damage, it could take them an age to get back to the pits.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to jump out, however, Ryan. Thanks for having me in for the comms.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll catch up with you a little later on.
Good luck to your team.
All right, thank you.
Martin, you got an idea on how much time we have left in this race?
I think there's about 7 minutes left of that lobby. I've just backed out of there. I'm jumping in the next lobby with Diablo now.
Perfect, to try and get that started a little bit closer to on time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be running 5-10 minutes behind, because we've got a couple of guys double stinting, so once Chris gets their distance, they'll jump straight into this lobby and hopefully we'll kick it off straight away. But either way, the following stint we'll be able to claw the time back anyway.
Gotcha. Well, guys, it's been really enjoyable calling this race for 3 full stints. I think I'm going to be out after this one, and we'll see if somebody else carries the torch. Not necessarily for Turn Media, because I think that'd be a lot to ask from Martin as he's organizing it. He has to be the timing car. But hopefully some of our drivers pick up the torch, and we can do satellite hosting of their view of this race for the final 3 stints.
Yeah, I think we've got a HCR Solar on hand. I think he offered to do a few stints if we needed it.
I believe just under 5 minutes left here in this race. A little bit wide from TLR Eclipse there as he exits that last corner. Keeps it under control though. It does look like Flying Egg for S2, Mad S2 Racing, is 4th in his class. Looks like a big mistake then from Flying Egg. Just caught the grass on the exit there, getting sideways. Not picking up any damage though. Really just losing some time.
Yeah, he got lucky there. I think he threw the anchors on. Managed to keep that away from the wall.
Right. So this stint then has really been a story of F4H dominance, one through 3 in TCC.
Yeah, a little bit of luck their way. A few guys having some technical issues. So there's a further 2 hours of rain, so anything could happen yet. And it's starting to get darker.
Indeed, probably in 2 hours or so we'll see the sun go down and the lights come up for night racing.
Yep.
Right, and that calls an end to racing. We'll now tally up all the distances from these drivers. And get ready for Stint 4 coming up next.